on ice board. Remember this. Remember this. Only lions swim in the water with lions. Palmers, baby. It's not for the faint of heart. Okay?
So allereerst, vond je allen ein frohes neues Jahr. First and foremost, I'd like to wish everyone a happy new year.
So I guess it's welcome to 2026. I hope everyone had an awesome holiday. In most respects, I did. So I hope you had the same. But today we're going to talk about lions and wolf in sheep clothing. Now I see after all that has transpired, and by now I think we all know what has transpired concerning the US and Venezuela situation. And interestingly enough, everything that we have said on Hanovi Global Network is exactly how it unfolded, pretty much. And initially when we were talking about all of this, got a lot of flack. And I did say to many people that it is critical that small nations understand the political global dynamic and do not get themselves in the middle of what is colloquially referred to as a rock stone dance. Global geopolitics, I'm going to say it again, is serious business. And the powers that be are vying for their national and foreign interests. And the United States, it is quite obvious, there is nothing under the sun that is going to get in the way of protecting their national and foreign interests. And that is not unique to the United States. All the big players that are currently involved in this global political, geopolitical game have the same agenda. They all will do whatever it takes to protect their national interests and their foreign interests, which they all should rightfully do so. This story is as old as the old Roman Empire. Every empire that has crossed this planet has done the very same thing. It is the only way to secure their survival and security, by protecting actively their national and foreign interests. So for all these people who try to deceive you and get all emotional and get all sensational and add some sort of moralistic perspective to the whole issue, and of course they have their own agenda, I warn you, do not be fooled. It's an old saying that he who abandons what is for what should be, that is a person or a nation or any institution that does that, will come to their own ruin. They would be left behind. They would be destroyed. And we've seen that throughout the annals of history, where nations who did not do what was in their best interest, some of them are not even here anymore. There are nations that have been utterly destroyed because they didn't have people or they didn't have politicians who were rightly guided or were shrewd enough to do what is in the best interest of the nation. And that is why they are left in the ashes of history. So it is critical that people who are put in charge of a nation understand their own local, and not just local, but regional and international political dynamic. That is critical because we live in a world that is actually ever closer and closer. So what happens here affects what happens over there. Okay? So you cannot live your life in isolation, and you have to be extremely careful in your choices, in your political choices. As we have seen the fallout. So, as I said, with all that has transpired, and you would think that the sensationalists and the so-called wannabe socialist Marxists, because they ain't socialist Marxists, you would see that they're still in their la-la land. And there are certain people who call themselves journalists, giving these people platforms, and I understand why they do it. It's to get likes and to get views and stuff like that, and to promote the emotional and sensational aspects of this. And they themselves want to signal to their overlords that, hey, we're towing the line. We're in your camp. And you know how that works. But what gave me a bit of consolation is that I have spoken to many rural Grenadians. And I was happy to see that they themselves are not fooled by all of this. As they would affectionately call me Redman. They said, Redman, boy, you think we stupid or what? You think we study them fellas and them who talking that nonsense? And they were, of course, talking about all the socialist Marxists who were talking a bunch of crap before what recently transpired, and still are now continuing to talk a lot of crap after what has transpired. But these people are political dinosaurs. These people, and I want to educate you a bit, because these very people who used to play Bajan for Grenadians, okay, a very long time ago, and they were given the opportunity in the early 80s to be the Che Guevaras that they wanted to be. They had ample opportunity to be big revolutionaries. They had ample opportunity to be big resistant fighters and stand up to imperialist power. And you know what they did? You know what they did? I'm sure you can guess. They run and hide. But now again, they're coming to you and pretending that they are all so Lenin reincarnated. Okay? They're acting like they are the modern Che Guevaras of the world. And they see their rightful duty to defend foreign powers. Like if you swear, say, like they were also born in this country that they are defending. It is interesting. For all the things that they have to deal with locally in Grenada, they don't pay attention to that. Because if they put their time and effort into helping and resolve these issues, guess what? They're not going to get the clout they're looking for.
They're not going to get the oohs or the wows that they're looking for. So they would prefer to pay more attention on Venezuela's issues than to pay attention to their own local Grenadian issues. Ain't that something? And there's loads of issues in Grenada for them to pay attention to. If they're true patriots and they really wanted to help their country, and they're true socialist Marxists, and they truly care about the working class and lower classes of people in Grenada, guess what? They would have taken their time and devoted it to helping these people. But they jump on some bandwagon. They jump on this bandwagon. And they all want to play that they're also big socialist Marxists. And they run into the aid of other countries while their country have their own plethora of issues to deal with. So you got to see through these people. You got to see them for what they are. Some of them, as this gentleman who went on the ladies' show, he's actually rode the unions. Okay? He rode the unions to his own personal progress. For decades. Okay? For decades. Now he's bored and probably nobody's paying him any attention. He's looking for a little clout. So he takes up this issue and he feels like, probably that'll give me some attention. But he's a political dinosaur. And I don't agree with Kem Jones very often. But this time I agree with him. And he clearly said to these guys, he said, boy, move there. Get out of here. But again, more importantly, my consolation was had when I spoke to the rural man and he said to me, we're not bothering with these guys. Who cares about what these guys say? We're not even paying them any attention. You know, we're not at all. So I'm very proud of these young men in the rural areas who understand what is going on in the world. You understand? That they're smart enough to know that these are the people you don't listen to. It's like looking for love in the wrong places. You're definitely not going to get it from these guys. And as I said, these guys had all the opportunity to be big revolutionaries and fighters. And guess what? They ran like cowards. They didn't even fire a shot in jest. But guess who stand up and fight? The regular Grenadian men, who were actually respected by the enemies at the time. Okay? They hail them more than these so-called wannabe socialist Marxists. These are hypocrite petty bourgeois. Wannabe petty bourgeois. Okay? Some of them want to be intellectual petty bourgeois. Some of them want to be petty bourgeois when they really ain't no goddamn petty bourgeois. But they can pretend. Okay? Luckily, I had the benefit of working in a bank. So we know them. Bunch of pretentious lot. Having these young men in tongue walking around with a bunch of tight pants and pretty shoes. Okay? Why don't you take your time and attention and devote it to organizing these young men and disciplining them? Why don't you do that? But you're worrying about other people's sons and daughters. You can't take care of your own. You can't manage your own. You can't organize your own. But you're worrying about other people's sons and daughters. Get out of here. Get out of here. And the interesting thing about it, their peers know them. It's not like their peers taking them serious. Their peers know them. Okay? Because they know they're a bunch of braggarts. And that's what they are. Coming and try to pretend for the young people of Grenada like you some big socialist Marxist. Who you trying to kid? You had ample opportunity to be Mr. Revolutionary. And what do? You run! Now you come here pretend like you're some big warrior and defender of other people's nation. Did you defend yours? Did you defend yours? No, you didn't. You left it to 14 and 15-year-old boys to do. Okay? And young men who put themselves in harm's way while you're probably hiding under your goddamn bed. Please. Who you trying to kid? And this young woman has the audacity to give you some sort of platform. Again, I know why she's doing it. She likes the sensationalism. And she wants to signal, okay, to the current administration that, oh, she's also doing their bidding. She wants to signal to the socialist Marxists that she's also doing their bidding. Okay? These hypocrites will hijack the NDC. But, I guarantee you ain't gonna do it on my watch. Because I am gonna educate the youth, truly educate the youth about you wolves in sheep clothing. So the bottom line is this, Grenada. In this high-stake geopolitical game, tread cautiously. And this is an advice for every small nation. Every vulnerable nation, stay out of this big people business. Okay? And these global games. Your issues are bread and butter issues. Take care of your people. Okay? Focus on your economy and protect your livelihood and economy. And stay out of games that you should not be in. Okay? Do not allow yourselves to be misled by these political dinosaurs. Okay? Who probably get an orgasm when they hear socialist Marxists. Because they have unfulfilled dreams that they destroyed. And they are dream destroyers. They will come and destroy your dreams and ambition. Because guess what? They have nothing more to lose. They have nothing to lose. They've rode the unions to their little pension or whatever they're getting. Okay? And the little money they made. So they got nothing to lose. But you, the youth of Grenada, have everything to lose. And I warned you, when the shit hit the fan, guess who has to bear the brunt of it? You, the Grenadian youth. As we have seen before, these people, they run and hide. Stay away from them. Okay? There's nothing good could come from them. Nothing good. Not even advice. Stay away from them.
You know, there comes a time where you gotta ask yourself, do I listen to a guy like me, or do I listen to these guys who tell you a bunch of stuff to emotionalize you, to make you feel good? They lie to you. They sell you fool's gold. But a guy like me, I keep it real with you. Okay? I don't lie to you. I keep it full 100. But these guys, they have an agenda. Okay? They want to remain relevant. These political dinosaurs who are lying to you. They're playing with your emotions. Okay? And you've got to look and observe. Wait. Here's a guy who's telling me something that's realistic. And what he said, pretty much, things turned out how he said it would turn out. So why should you listen to these people? Why should you?